Dear viewers, in this episode I am going to talk about the returning NRIs. What are their obligations and what are the things that they have to attend to when they come back to India. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant, but practicing investment consultant and a financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, NRI Money Clinic is committed to solving the problem of NRI community spread across the globe. We are looking to associate with those professionals who are in the practice of finance in different countries. If you are a person who is a chartered public accountant, company secretary, tax planner, financial planner, or any of the related financial topics, and if you are in the practicing line, you have a chance to appear on our channel to discuss the problems and solutions for the various problems faced by NRI community. What is that we are expecting from you? You should be a licensed practitioner, you should be a practitioner, you should be in a position to articulate and simplify the complex legal, taxation or finance related subjects in such a way that the audience will understand without much of a difficulty. If you are having an interest to appear on our channel, please send a message on the number that is shown here on the screen, and we will establish contact with you and look into the possibility of associating with you. Dear viewers, every year hundreds and thousands of NRIs return back to India. When they return back to India, there are things that they need to be attending to. There are obligations and there are things that they need to attend to. In this episode, we are going to discuss each and every point. What is the thing that you have to attend to, and what is the thing that you are obligated to do, and every bit of detail in this video. To talk about the various aspects of your obligations, I have brought to the studio my eminent faculty, practicing chartered accountant Dhanush Bolar. Dhanush Bolar is a popular figure on this channel. He has appeared on the channel many times before. He is a FEMA law specialist, a partner at Nitin J. Shetty & Co., a man who practices FEMA law on a day-to-day basis. Welcome to this show, Mr. Dhanush Bolar.
Thank you.
Mr. Dhanush Bolar, so many NRIs return back to India year after year. Many people do not know what is that they have to do when they come back to India. Their bank accounts, their investment, so many things. In this episode, I want you to help my audience to understand what all the things that they have to do when they return back to India. Let's look at point one by one. Okay. The first point that comes to my mind is, when there are NRIs outside of India, they have acquired several assets.
Yes.
What happens to these assets, what they have acquired as an NRI outside of India when they return back to India?
We have already discussed in our earlier episode that when an NRI returns to India for permanent settlement, he will become a person resident in India as per the regulations of Foreign Exchange Management Act. So when he becomes a person resident in India, the next question comes is, what are the status of the investments made when he was an NRI? See, the FEMA laws permits NRIs when he comes to India for permanent settlement to hold or own the foreign security or foreign currencies or investments in any assets outside India, which was owned by such person when he was a resident outside India.
So there is no problem to hold that if he has acquired this when he was an NRI, you return back to India, but you can still continue to hold them. There is no problem whatsoever.
Yes.
Okay. A follow-up question for you is, I have acquired certain assets, maybe some shares, maybe some properties, whatever it is. After I return back to India, can I transfer it to somebody? Can I trade in that? Can I do anything that I want, or are there any restrictions for that?
No, those assets which was acquired when he was resident outside India can be transferred. Even the sales proceeds what he received on transfer can be reinvested in any other assets outside India, provided this should be in compliance with the FEMA law. That means he cannot involve in real estate activities outside India when he becomes a resident in India.
You mean to say, if a person has purchased a house abroad,
okay,
and he sells this property,
yes,
can he not reinvest in another house?
He can invest in another house, but he cannot involve. I mean, he cannot just involve in purchase and selling.
You mean to say a trading activity?
Trading activity cannot.
But you can continue to own it.
Own it, yes.
So you can't run it like a business.
Yes, yes.
Right. So, but you can change the property. You can continue to own it. You can transfer it the way you want.
Yes, yes. He can lease that property as well.
Okay.
and there is no obligation to repatriate the sale proceeds to India.
So there is no obligation. He
Yes.
can continue to hold it
Yes,
outside of
yes.
India. Now you said that the NRIs can continue to hold assets, property, shares, whatever that they held outside of India, or even after come back to India.
Yes.
Are there any obligations for them that, okay, I own so much of assets? Is there a need for them to declare it or bring to the notice of some authorities to state that they have so much of an assets outside of India, or you just neglect it? What does the position of law say?
See, there is no disclosure requirement as per FEMA Act, but as per the Income Tax Act, when you become a resident in India, subject to fulfillment of conditions provided under Income Tax Act. So, if you become a resident in India as per Income Tax Act, you have to disclose your foreign assets as well as liabilities when you are filing your return of income in India.
So FEMA law does not say anything about it.
Yes.
Whereas Income Tax Act says you must mention while filing the tax return, you have to give clear description of what are your assets
Yes.
and what are your liabilities outside of India. So that obligation remains with the returning
Yes.
NRI.
Yes.
One of the popular modes of investment for NRIs is investing in Indian stock market.
Yes.
So they have started this Demat account
Yes.
when they were NRIs,
Yes.
this PIS accounts, non-PIS account and all. What happens to these Demat accounts? Can they be left as it is, or there any changes that are required to be done in that?
See, there is no obligation to transfer these shares which are in NRI Demat account or NRO Demat account. What he can do is, he has to designate this Demat account to a resident Demat account, and he can transfer those shares from one Demat account to the resident Demat account.
Okay, so you mean to say this Demat account which was having an NRI status,
Yes.
that has to be converted into a resident
Resident
status.
Demat.
So a new Demat account has to be
Opened.
opened, and the existing shares have to be transferred into this one.
Yes.
It cannot continue as the PAS accounts which are attached to NRE account or NRO accounts. That cannot continue.
Yes.
But it will not prevent you, or it will not obligate you sell it and rebuy it here.
Yes,
You
yes.
can transfer from there and move it into the resident account, and
Yes.
will continue as it
Yes.
is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. One another area where NRIs get very much involved is life insurance policies.
Yes.
They will buy insurance policies outside of India in their countries.
Yes.
Zurich, Allianz, so many companies are there. What happens to these insurance policies? Chances are that the returning NRI still has to pay for those policies. Chances are that it is at some point of time will mature. What is the thing that returning NRI should know about these insurance policies?
The life insurance policies or general insurance policies which was taken when he was a resident outside India can be continued to be maintained, but he has to intimate about the changes in the residential status to a insurer outside India,
Okay.
and there is no permission required for the payment of premium. He can take the benefit of liberalized remittance scheme LRS
Okay.
to pay the premium amount. However, if he receive the claim amount or the maturity proceeds, that has to be repatriated to India within a period of 180 days from the date of maturity.
You mean to say that if an insurance policy matures, then the maturity proceeds, if it is received in his foreign bank account, can't be left there, but within 182 days it should be brought back to India. That's an obligation.
Yes, he has to bring it back to India.
Okay. So dear viewers, please note, if you have an insurance policy which is maturing and you are becoming a resident Indian now, if you are receiving the maturity proceeds of this policy in your foreign bank account, you have an obligation to remit this money back to India within 180 days. Dhanush, NRI community is quite influential. Many of them are in very, very prominent positions. Some of them could be in a position of directors, partners, owners of business. What happens to these positions when they return back to India? Should they relinquish the post, or is there a need to intimate to some tax authorities that they are discharging their liabilities as directors or partners?
So when he becomes resident in India, the law is silent. The Foreign Exchange Management Act is silent on what is the status of the directorship or a partner in a LLC. So it is better to get a RBI clarification through his authorized dealer bank.
Okay.
He has to intimate his authorized dealer bank about the status of his directorship or partnership firm in outside India. So through AD bank he can get a RBI clarification about the status of this.
So the law is silent.
Yes.
So it is advisable to write to RBI
Yes.
and intimate about this particular position
Yes.
that he is continuing.
Yes.
It is an advisable thing, but the law at this point of time is silent
Silent
about
on this.
Right. The biggest information or the most important information that a returning NRIs must know is about the bank accounts.
Yes.
He is having bank accounts outside of India. He has special accounts of NRI, NRO accounts in India. He must be having FCNR accounts,
Yes.
different types of accounts there. Can you tell me what is his obligation or what is that he should do with respect to each and every of these types of account? His accounts outside of India, his accounts inside India, NRI, NRO and FCNR.
See, foreign bank account can be continued to be held.
Okay.
However, with respect to NRE accounts, he has to redesignate to his resident savings account. I mean, he has to close his NRE account and he has to open a resident savings account.
When should he do that?
When he comes to India for permanent settlement from the day one. There is no time limit. However, the banks would tell that you have a time of 60 days or 180 days, whatever it is. But as per the FEMA law, when you comes to India for a permanent settlement, you have to redesignate your account to resident savings account. With respect to NRE accounts, he has two options. One is close the NRE account and transfer whatever money is there to his resident savings account. One more option is he can open resident foreign currency account if he wants to keep the repatriability nature of the funds. Means if he wants to use that funds for remittance outside India in a foreign currency, he can keep that money in a RFC account and he use that money for future purpose.
Okay. As I understood, if you are a person who is holding NRE account, it has to be closed.
Closed.
It has to be closed. There is no timeline which is clearly
Yes.
defined there. The best way to handle it is as soon as possible or within the reasonable period, not extending somewhere around 90 days or so. That's what we have discussed in our earlier
Yes.
videos also. You have to convert this. When you convert this, either you convert this into a resident account, or if you feel you need forex and you have obligations outside of India, you feel that holding dollar is better than holding rupees or whatever could be your reasons, then you have an opportunity to convert the money which is there in your NRE account into RFC account.
Yes.
RFC is resident foreign currency account, and you can keep it and you can continue to hold on to that. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes. And you have one more NRO account that has to be converted to resident savings account.
Okay.
And there is one more account called FCNR account. FCNR account can be continued till maturity.
Okay.
Upon maturity, it has to be, the maturity proceeds has to be withdrawn, or he can transfer the money to RFC account.
Okay, even in case of FCNR, yeah, let's say that you have a long-term FCNR which has been booked, you can hold it till the maturity date. Upon maturity, either convert to RFC or convert into Indian rupee
Indian.
account,
Yes.
and just that proceeds to your
Yes.
resident account.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Dhanush, one point that came to my mind is, these days this particular problem is quite rampant. People can work from home now, right?
Yes.
Somebody is employed outside of India,
Yes.
but his responsibility can be quite easily discharged by sitting in India.
Yes.
I will think, why should I sit in Dubai and pay such a hefty rent? I will sit in India, work from home, discharge my duties, I get my salary in my Dubai account.
Okay.
Okay? Is it permitted? From technical perspective, because I am sitting in India and discharging my responsibility, I am a resident Indian.
Yes.
My employment contract is still there.
Yes.
The employer is remitting my salary to my Dubai account
Yes.
or any other foreign account.
Yes.
Is it permitted, or are there any obligations towards it?
See, there are two situations. The one situation is he is continued to discharge his obligation to a foreign employer. So when he receives salary, it has to come to India within a period of 180 days.
Okay.
The second situation is, see, a person comes to India for permanent settlement, but still he enters into an agreement with the foreign business entity, a foreign company. So in that case, whatever service he provides from India, it will be considered as an export of service. So once it is considered as export of service, he has to comply with FEMA law, he has to comply with the GST laws. And under FEMA laws, he has an obligation to intimate his AD bank by giving an invoice about the amount of the service provided, and those values should be brought to India within a period of 9 months from the date of invoice.
Okay. So it's a bit confusing at this point of
Yes.
time here, as I understand. If you are a person who is doing your job by sitting inside India,
Yes.
okay, then the money that you receive in your foreign account has to be brought here within 180 days.
Yes. And with respect to export of service, within 9 months.
And if you are a person who has come back to India
Yes.
and got into an agreement to discharge or to provide some services to a business entity which is outside of India,
Yes.
then within 9 months that money, whatever that you have received, should be brought back.
Yes.
But the amount can be received in the foreign country.
No, it has to directly come to your Indian bank account.
That is in case of
Export of service.
in case of export of service.
Yes.
But if somebody is doing work from home, then
Yes.
there is no problem.
No
He can,
problem.
He
Yeah.
can still receive the money outside of India.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Mr. Dhanush, one more thing that comes to my mind is, now NRIs are outside of India.
Yes.
They wouldn't have done some of the requirements under the law here. Are there anything specific that you can remember which they have to immediately get it done once they become resident Indian?
Once they become resident Indian, they have to get Aadhaar. They have to enroll for Aadhaar.
Okay.
If they are not having it,
Okay. So NRIs are not required to have an Aadhaar.
Aadhaar.
But if you are an NRI who is returning to India, if you don't have an Aadhaar now, once you come back and once you satisfy the Aadhaar Act number of days stay in India,
yes,
then you have to get an Aadhaar.
Aadhaar.
So in India today, without Aadhaar, nothing will move.
Yes.
So you must have your Aadhaar card once you become a resident Indian.
Yes.
Thank you, Dhanush, for bringing to the notice of our audience all these finer points, what are the things that they have to do once they come back to India. There are so many doubts which are there in the minds of NRI community. The episode that I have done today probably helped them to understand what are the requirements that they have to attend to once they come back to India. On behalf of NRI Money Clinic, on behalf of our audience, a big thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, hope the episode that we have done today helped you to understand what are the things that you need to attend to once you are back in India and become a resident Indian. If the episode that we have done helped you to understand all these finer points, please like this video. If you are a person who is watching this channel for the first time, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share these videos with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another topic in yet another video very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.